Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad. Hi, Mom. Hi, Grandpa. Hi, the work plan.
Hi, Opanoma.
Hi, Dad. Hi,
Opanoma.
Hi, Grandpa.
Hi, everybody else in this.
Hello grandparents, senior friends of Smithwood Christian, and everyone else who's been following our adventures. We're sending this message from beautiful and sunny Leon, Nicaragua. As you may have heard, we're a group of 15 students who, as part of our coursework this semester, include spending 6 weeks in Nicaragua. We've been studying Spanish and we're learning a lot about the culture and geography of the region, but we're also here to serve. We are teaching English in 2 Christian schools for 5 weeks. It's a bit of a challenge, but with the help of Mr. G and our Nicaraguan translator Zanya, it's turning out really well. The Nicaraguan teachers and students are quite happy to have us work in their schools, and we're so thankful for the opportunity to join them. We've been living here in downtown Leon for the past 3 weeks, and right now we're in Cafe Rosita, where several of us love to hang out when we get the chance and drink their version of an iced cappuccino. Next week we'll be moving in with local families for 2 weeks to get an even closer experience of Nicaraguan culture. Now let's hear from a few members of our team. So what has been a really big challenge for you on this trip?
For me, the beginning was a bit of a challenge because everything was just so different. Like, we went from the country to the city right away. We didn't have our friends, we didn't have our family or anything like that around us. But we bonded with the people here, so that's a plus. The kids here are just, every time we teach them, they just get like more and more used to us, and it's really great to be able to communicate a little bit with them.
John, what is one difference you've seen between Nicaragua and Canada that really strikes you?
One major difference between Nicaragua and Canada that I've seen is the driving here is a lot different than Canada. Here the people drive a lot quicker and swerve in and out of traffic. And they frequently use their horns. Okay. Shut up!
And what's something that you've learned on the trip?
I've learned that how much I actually take for granted when I'm in Canada. Like, I never really realized it until I left Canada and I got out of my comfort zone, and I actually entered real poverty, how much I actually do have and how much I take for granted.
Wait,
It's not on, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, shoot. On this trip, I have learned so many new things. Not only have I learned a new language, but I've learned and seen a new way of life. And I've learned to be positive in everyday life because the people here are always positive. It just brings you up every day.
The meals are different here. With having rice and beans in the morning and meat and rice and vegetables for both lunch and dinner. The drivers are pretty impatient here, so it's like they always just scooch in front of each other and stuff like that. It's crazy.
Kelsey, what's something you've learned on the trip?
One thing I learned is to be content with what you have, because down here, a lot of people don't have too much, and yeah, always get sad just thinking about how much I have.
What has been one of the highlights on the trip so far?
One of the highlights on the trip was going to Monterey Island, which is made up of 2 volcanoes, and then being on the lake and seeing both of them and just seeing the beauty that comes there.
And what's been one of the challenges?
One of the challenges has definitely been the language barrier. It's really hard to communicate what we want and understand what other people are saying to us.
Do I ask
There's
you
a question? Sure, ask the question.
Yeah. James, how has your relationships grown with team members or with Nicaraguans?
My relationships with the team members have definitely grown quite a bit because back at school, I'm a grade 12er and everybody else is mostly grade 11ers, so I didn't really hang out with them that much, but on this trip I definitely got to know everybody quite well, which is awesome. And with the locals here, like the staff of the hostel we're staying in, I've got to know them quite well.
So one of the highlights on this trip for me was definitely Ometepe. It was just a fantastic trip we did. It was such a beautiful place, an island made of 2 volcanoes, and we just had a blast on that island. Like, we went for a hike in the jungle and swam in a waterfall, did some kayaking up a river, and then the next day we went to this spring that was fed from a volcano. It was just an awesome weekend, and I really saw God in nature, like how powerful He is, and just His creation was just so beautiful. And another great part about Ometepe was our Sunday service, where we went on the beach and we just had a walk alone with God and just really reflected on Him. And it was just a great experience overall, and I really enjoyed it.
One of the highlights on this trip for me has been living here in Leon in the hostel. The staff is really nice, the people around here are really nice, and everything's really easy accessible. We are getting used to the town and we know where everything is. We tried getting lost today in an adventure, but we still knew where we were thanks to our scavenger hunt that we had at the beginning. So it was a lot of fun, and we're getting comfortable here and we really like it. And I've seen our faith shine the most in this trip. I would have to say that our church service on Sunday on the beach was really nice. Mr. G asked us to take a walk on the beach with God for 10 minutes, and I thought it was really powerful because we could have a one-on-one conversation with God. And we've been here with each other and like as a group, and it's been really nice. But having a one-on-one conversation with God for a good 10 minutes was really nice.
Sandra, what has been one of the highlights of this trip so far?
One of the highlights of this trip for me is my team teaching our grade 5 class. They really enjoy us coming and teaching them, and they love it when we're there, and they don't want us to leave.
One of the challenges has been pushing myself through like uncomfortable or difficult situations, like dealing with like the intense heat here, and pushing myself through those conversations with locals that in English I wouldn't have a second thought about it, but here it's I stumble by my old architecture here in Nicaragua and massive landscapes, and it just has an ancient beauty to it that you can tell it's just lasted throughout the ages.
Bethany, what is a big challenge for you on this trip?
I guess like obviously the language and like trying to get people to understand you and like understanding what they say too, like when they start talking to you and it's just like I have no idea what you're saying. People really appreciate it, like when you put an effort to try and speak their language and like you put effort into your relationship and time, that people respond positively and you can build really good relationships with people even if you don't speak. I guess the pace of life. Like in Canada it's always go, 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 and you have to be on time and everything's fast. You just need right away. But here it's like you can go at your own pace, you can stop and talk to people. You don't have to be on time and it's more laid back.
I think something that I've learned is that we don't really realize it at home, but we're really, really blessed. Like we have so much in Canada and we kind of take it for granted. And when you're here and you're like walking through the streets, you see so many people who are just sitting there holding up their hand asking for money. And they do that every single day. And that's how they live. And we're just so blessed that we can stay in warm homes every day. So, Mr. G, what has been one of the highlights for you on the trip?
Well, I have to say that actually this whole trip has been a highlight of my teaching career. To be able to take students out of the classroom for such a time as this, and to give them an experience so different from what they've had before, to give them challenges that they can learn from, and such a strong motivation to learn. And to see their just their camaraderie, the way they get along with each other, the way they're so enthusiastic about learning these new things, and to see their delight in discovering things and building relationships. It's really been, of all my teaching experiences, the best. I'm just so thrilled with it, and it's a great bunch. Been really glad to do this. And you know, I was sad to miss the snow day this week. No, actually not. I'm loving the sun.
Well, that's everyone. It's a long time away from home, longer than we've done before, and it really made me think of how we're actually growing up and that we'll be moving away soon. And so your faith is so much more than just what your parents believe. Like you have to take it as your own. And that's really come out on this trip. And thank you for listening, and look at the rest of the vlog, and we'll see you in a couple weeks.